All right, awesome. We are recording now. Courtney Mims, thank you so much for joining us. Courtney is a graduate of our program here at CJC. She previously worked in Panama City and is currently out in Arkansas working as is it still a weekend sports anchor? Is that the official title?
Actually, I got upgraded to assistant sports director, and I'm the evening sports anchor now here.
Oh,
So,
that's awesome.
little
Congratulations.
bit of a promotion. Thank you.
Courtney, we usually have you start off telling us a little bit about actually your journey to UF, why you came to UF, what you did while you were here, and then kind of your journey to where you are today.
Yeah. So thank you so much for having me, first of all. I'm super excited to speak to you guys today. The reason, honestly, why I wanted to come to UF is doing what you guys do right now. I knew UF had a fantastic journalism program. And so that's kind of where I was looking at. I looked at, Missouri, I looked a little bit at FSU, and I just said, you know what? I really think I would be good at UF, and I really think that they would set me up for success, which they did, which was awesome. But that's kind of how I came upon UF. I also was in Florida, obviously close to home, so it was an easy option for me to pick. And again, I mean, you guys know this being in this program, but just everything that they have at the journalism school, and even more so nowadays. I mean, I see you guys doing much more than even I did when I was there. So that just shows the continual growth and what the program is doing. Eric, I'm sorry, did I answer that fully, or was there a second part to that?
Yeah, just kind of take us through like once you graduated, where you were, and then kind of to where you are today.
Yeah, yeah. So when I graduated, I like Eric had mentioned there, I went to Panama City Beach, and I was a sports director out of college. So I went to a station called WMBB, which is a small, very small market, Panama City Beach, very small station, but thought it was a good opportunity to go, hey, they want to hire me out of college to become a sports director, which I gladly took that opportunity and ran with it. So I got to run my own department. It was great. Got to cover really what we wanted to cover there, create some really cool shows. A lot in Panama City Beach, and you'll find this if you go to a small market out of college. A lot of it is high school, and high school drives local sports coverage and local TV. It's just people love high school football. People love high school sports. That even goes into if you're in an area that high school basketball is huge as well. You'll find that that drives your local coverage. What I do now is we don't do any high school here, but I'll get into that. But that's where I went out of college. I went to Panama City Beach, was a sports director there for 3 years, and then decided I kind of wanted to do something else. I got to do the high school thing a lot, and I was like, I really want to cover something pro, maybe a pro sport. I don't know. Like, I just want to be in a bigger market. And so when I was looking at jobs, I kind of said, okay, I could go somewhere where there's a bunch of pro teams, or I could go somewhere where they really, really care about sports and they really, really love sports. And that was Arkansas. Believe it or not, there were so many people who called me crazy wanting to come cover the Razorbacks full time, but they treat it differently here. You only really know that if you come to Arkansas. They treat the Razorbacks as their pro team. There are no pro teams here, so they only have the Razorbacks. So they dial into every ounce of coverage that we do, and we don't do any high school coverage. We just cover the Razorbacks. So, and in every sport as well. I mean, I could be going to a baseball game, doubleheader tomorrow or whatever, and then on in the evening, I could be covering a gymnastics meet. It's just so fun because it's not just, okay, you're covering football, or okay, you're covering men's basketball. You get to cover everything. And so I really love that as a sports fan, that really enticed me. I was like, okay, I want to cover everything. And so that's why I came to Arkansas. And so that's a kind of brief overview of what I've done so far. I got to do a couple of other cool things, through the pipeline, and work, as a CBS sports analyst a few times, and do things just along the way. But that's kind of my path.
Wonderful. Thanks for recapping that. So we always also ask a couple questions about something that maybe the students aren't thinking about when they graduate and transitioning away from college life and getting into the professional world, whether it be whether it's something with the job search, whether it's something where, you're moving because you've already, moved a couple different places. What are some things that you didn't pick up while you were here at UF that you've now picked up and were like, man, I wish I was taught this when I was in school?
I think I wish I was kind of told that you're gonna have growing pains anywhere you go, and you're not gonna be fully prepared to start your first job ever. I mean, I jumped into a sports director role out of college, and nobody ever could have prepared me for what it meant to run my own department and take over and be a person that people look up to at the station. And so I think for me, it was that you're gonna be uncomfortable when you graduate. You're gonna be uncomfortable in that first job, and it's okay if you're underqualified for it. I feel like that so many people were like, "Oh my gosh, did you feel underqualified for it?" And I was like, "Well, I guess in a way I was, but at the same time, UF prepared me, right? A lot of you are going through things right now that you can take and apply to that first job. A lot of you are probably using the opportunities that you have. If you're not, I recommend you do, because there's so many at the CJC that you could be taking opportunities and running with them. But that's how it kind of prepared me. But I kind of wish someone just told me it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to have growing pains. Usually, I mean, when you first graduate and you go out into the world, there are so many things that you just have to kind of figure out as you go. And that's okay. That's genuinely okay. We have people come join our station now out of college. And there's so many things I'm like, okay, they might not have taught you this little thing, but let me teach you this and let me teach you that. And they learn so much in that first job that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to not be perfect. That's what that first job is. And so I wish someone would have told me that, because I strive for perfection. I know probably a lot of you in this room are going, that's me. I want to be perfect on air. I want to be absolutely amazing. I never want to say anything wrong. I never want to mess up. I never want to mess up a stat or whatever it is. It's okay. It's going to happen. I mean, we put out so much content on a daily basis. I'm lucky if a spelling error doesn't go out and everything is perfect usually, because it's like, we're human and we make mistakes, and that's okay. We want to strive for perfection, but I wish someone just told me it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be yourself, and learn a lot in that first job.
Walk us through like a typical, I know nothing's ever typical in sports, but typical like week or day, what it looks like for a sports director covering Arkansas sports.
Yeah, so I mean, I never stop working. I hope that doesn't freak any of you guys out there. I just don't. I mean, I'm always on my phone. I'm constantly making sure that something hasn't broken, something hasn't happened, because if it's all hands on deck, right? And I use a good example as the Coach Calipari news. I was at a wedding on Sunday night when I started getting calls that he was going to be the next head coach at Arkansas. And I had to go at a wedding, at a friend's wedding, keep stepping out of the building and going, okay, give me this, tell me this. You don't stop working. So, if that's something that you're not interested in, then I would say, hey, maybe look at some other things, because in the sports world, there's no breaks, there's no time off. They don't see holidays, right? I mean, games are happening on holidays. So you work a lot. A typical day, though, if nothing crazy has happened, okay, and we're just talking regular Thursday, kind of like today for us. So today's a very chill day. I say that and then something's going to break. But today for us, it's really easy. We come in at around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and we start to get our shows ready. And so we, as a Pig Trail Nation, are in multiple shows. We're kind of weird in the way we do things, because we're not only on one station, we're on three. So you can see us all around the state of Arkansas. So we're on three separate stations, and we do the sports for three separate stations. So we have our own studio. It doesn't interfere with anything going on in the news or weather sections of our local news station. We have our own, we're basically our own operation. And so we get ready for all those shows. And so what we do is we do a 5 o'clock, we do a 5:30, and we do a 6 o'clock for multiple stations. So if I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 broadcasts, I think, through that hour. through that hour and a half window. And then we do a 9 and we do a 10 as well. Sometimes we throw in there, if it's special coverage, we'll throw in there a 7 o'clock. We'll throw in there something else. But today, that's kind of what we'll set up. We'll set up those shows. Part of our team is actually over at the Broyles Award right now. That is given out here in Arkansas and given out to the top assistant coach in college football. So we'll find out who wins that tonight. No Arkansas people are up for it. No Florida people either. But, what can you do? We'll be covering that as well here tonight. And that'll be kind of our secondary coverage to our sports team. And so we have a crew over at the Broyles Award as well. But basically, I'll get the show set up. I'll produce my own shows. If any of you produce for WUFT, if any of you guys do any of that, it's the same thing. We use EMPS. I set up my shows. I edit my shows and I write my shows. And usually I try and make them a little bit different in between each broadcast. And so we also today have a special as well. We're doing a preseason baseball special. So at 6:30, I'll transition to, okay, I've pre-produced this baseball special. Now I have to host and anchor it. And then I do my basketball show as well. So a lot of shows, a lot of just moving parts on a typical day of just a lot of talking and a lot of producing and editing would be in a typical day. But if it's a non-typical day, let's say if it's a game day or something like that, we're covering the game. We're doing full coverage. We have a coverage plan. Somebody's going live. Somebody's doing social media. Somebody's writing an article. And somebody's shooting the game, and that's kind of how we break up those tasks on a game day per se.
How big is your team? I know you're kind of like in a non-traditional, like regular newsroom where you have a big focus on Arkansas sports. You kind of have your own space and that sort of thing. It's not typical in a lot of different local markets. But how big is your team, your sports team there?
Yeah, we have 5 people. We are super lucky.
Yes.
We are a very large team, which is really, really nice. You won't see that in local sports anywhere, but it goes to show we're able to hire that many people because of what people consume here, and that's sports. I mean, people just care so much about Arkansas. That's why we're able to have 5 people covering the program. But there's Alyssa, who is our sports director. I'm our assistant sports director. We have 2 sports reporters, and then we also have a lovely 80-year-old senior analyst who's been covering the Hogs for 50 plus years.
Wow.
And so he comes on to give his perspective of things, and we have him kind of as a rotating analyst. He'll join us for live shots. He has a show every Monday called Ask Mike, which I host with him. And he kind of joins us for anything that we might need in terms of analyst work. And so it's kind of cool that we have our own analyst on staff because not many local stations get to say that. But we are very lucky with a 5-person sports team. We actually get branded as the state's largest sports team. We're actually might be the region's largest sports team just because of cutbacks and things happening at different stations. So,
and you all are based in Fayetteville?
Yeah, so we're based in Fayetteville, but we also broadcast, like I said, to multiple stations within Arkansas. So we're based in Fayetteville, but you can also see us in Little Rock. So we cover pretty much the entire state of Arkansas. If you turn on your TV, you're most likely going to see a Pig Trail Nation report somewhere, or you'll get it somewhere on your TV because that's why we have such a large audience and we're able to broadcast to kind of the masses in Arkansas.
All right, so sell us on Fayetteville, Little Rock, the Arkansas area. It's kind of a very unknown space for a lot of folks. When you go into local TV, that's kind of the route you go. You go to, start at a smaller market, move to a smaller mid-sized market and kind of work your way up the ladder. But tell us a little bit about just like the city in general, your lifestyle, what kind of things are you to be able to do around there. I think it gives students an idea of maybe what could be ahead if they're not, going into a bigger market.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, I'll say this, it's a smaller market, but it feels like a big one, right? So I mean, I go to games and people are so weirded out by it when they come from bigger markets and they come to our games. They'll come to baseball games or basketball games or football games and they'll go, wow, people recognize you guys. They go, yeah, It's because everybody in the state watches Pig Trail Nation, and so everybody here watches us. I don't know if you went to New York City, you'd get the same kind of reception as we do here, which is just super weird. It's one of the things I love because it's like I love talking to the fans. I love interacting with the fan base, and when you know that they're watching you and you know that they're consuming your content, it kind of drives you more. You're like, yeah, people care. People want to watch this. So it makes you work a little bit harder too. So I love that. But it feels like a big market. It's weird because Fayetteville is like a college town, your typical college town. The university is there. When the students leave, there's not really a lot going on. But it's also the home. If you guys don't know this, we have Walmart's headquarters here. They were founded in Bentonville, which is in Northwest Arkansas, not in Fayetteville. It's a little bit north of Fayetteville, where I actually live. And we always have something going on here. I mean, I literally, no joke, walked by Chris Evans the other day, and I was like, that's Chris Evans. That's the weirdest thing. But there are celebrities here all the time because of Walmart, and what they do and their brand. And so Walmart's kind of weird. This is a little bit maybe of a fun fact for you guys, but Walmart won't do business with you unless you have an office in Northwest Arkansas. So you'll like see random companies who have random offices here in Arkansas because they want to do business with Walmart, and they have to have, it was like one of Sam Walton's things. He was like, they have to have an office here in Arkansas if we want to do business with them. And it's still held true here in 2025. So they have their own studios as well. They do their own commercials. So I'm always seeing Sofia Vergara the other day came into our station. That was really cool. We had some like really random people. We have some Simone Biles was here. That was really cool. But like, again, you wouldn't think of it in Arkansas, but we just have a lot of things going on in this area of Northwest Arkansas. There's lots of things to do. Walmart has a amphitheater here. Our station gets free tickets, so I get free concert tickets. So I go to a lot of concerts, hang out with a lot of people there. We have our own box at the concert venue, so that's really cool. There's other things to do as well. We have a theater here, so if you ever like traveling Broadway shows and things like that, I get to go to those. We get free tickets, so I go to those as well. And then a lot of things that Walmart puts on too, like a lot of functions and random stuff. I get to go to a lot of galas, which are quite fun. I know that might not sound fun to people, but free drinks, free food. It's great. I love it. I'll take galas any day of the week. So just a lot of random stuff though. I mean, I tell people all the time, Fayetteville, Arkansas is deceiving, even Little Rock, because of the people that you find here and the people that are here. And honestly, the food is great. Like I have so many restaurants I love going to that feel like big city restaurants here that definitely have no business being in Arkansas, but they're that good. But yeah, it's just a really cool place. I mean, I recommend if any of you have the opportunity to visit or come here, it is a really cool place. So.
All right. So tell us a little bit about, you work with a lot of different folks on your team. I'm sure you've participated in many interview process. You probably interviewed, folks, you've had interns come in, all that kind of stuff. What stands out for somebody that's just starting in the business? And what kind of qualities are you looking for when you all are looking for teammates to work with you and hire?
One of the biggest things that we look for when we're interviewing people is a drive to be a part of a team. And what I mean by that is I love team players, and that sounds so cliche, but it's so true because when you're in a 5-person sports team, you've all got to work together. We work together a lot. We're really, really close. And so if you don't have the same mindset as everyone else in the group, which is we do things for the team. There's no, hey, I'm doing this for my individualistic gain. No, you're doing it for the team. You're doing it for the betterment of like, look, Pig Trail Nation is who I work for, and I want to make the product better. And so I look for people who really have that mindset of like, I'm willing to do anything for the team in order to help them succeed. And so you love working with those people. That's one of the first things I look for when I've interviewed even the 2 guys that we just hired and our sports reporters. They have that in them, right? It's like one of the things that leapt off the page, I guess you could say, in their interview. It was very apparent that they really, really cared about the team. Other things I'm looking for is you don't have to have the best reel. I'm genuinely, sometimes I'm not looking at who has the best reel. I'm looking for who has done the most, right? So I'm looking for who has been a go-getter, right? Who has gone out and reported on Florida gymnastics, who's gone out and done a story on somebody that I wouldn't have even thought of, maybe somebody who it isn't really a huge part of the team, but a story that I really thought, wow, they did the work for that. They found that idea, they created it, and they told it on the screen. It was beautiful. So sometimes I'm looking for things like that. Everybody always wants to be flashy, right? With their reel. They're all like, yeah, look at me, I'm here. And look at me, I've gone to the Super Bowl. And look at me, I've done this. I couldn't care less if you were in your backyard. But if the content that you're giving me is great stuff and shows that you've put in the work, I would love if you went over to, Gainesville High School or Buchholz or wherever and just did a stand up there and told a great story. That to me would showcase you more than maybe, let's say, somebody who has gotten opportunities to, I don't know, report overseas or done different things. I just want people who are driven, people who are motivated, people who are team players, and people who are willing to learn, right? If this is your first market, don't be afraid to learn, right? Don't be afraid to say, I don't know everything, and that's okay. I'd like to learn. People love that. I love when people admit to me, like, hey, Courtney, I don't know how to do this. Or I don't know. Can you help me with this? I love that. I'm like, yes, let's learn. You don't know everything, and it's okay. And it's okay. I'm still learning today. I still learn so many things where I'm like, wait, I didn't realize that. That's really cool. That's what keeps us in this business. It's that drive to ask questions and be curious and learn every single day and learn something new every single day. So those are some things I'm looking for. So if you're sitting there going, oh, I don't have the most flashiest reel, that's okay. That's okay. Do you have good stories? Do you have something that I might be able to see on yours that nobody else has? If you have that, then good job. You're already way well on your way to getting a good job.
Does anybody have any questions for Courtney? All right. Yeah, go ahead, Jack.
Did you always know that you wanted to be a sports anchor, sports director, or was that something you kind of figured out while you were here at UF?
That is a great question. And I actually did not know I wanted to be a sports anchor. I'll be totally honest with you. Some of you guys may know Steve Russell, who was there. And he was just such a big help for me because I'll tell you, it was very funny. He literally came up to me. He heard me talking with some of the sports team, right? At the ESPN Gainesville area of the newsroom. I don't know if they still do this. So like we had our own section. Hopefully
Yes.
that's still the same. Good. Perfect. So we had our own little section and I was over there talking with some friends and I was talking, I think it was about either football or basketball or something. And Steve got mad at me. He was like, "Come, who are you? Like, why are you coming over here and bothering our people, you know?" And he pulled me in and I was like, "Well, I guess I like sports. Like my dad's a coach, but I kind of was like the rebel, I guess, where I was like, I don't want to do sports because my dad's a coach and I don't know if I want to do it." And he was like, "Why?" He's like, "You enjoy it, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Okay, why don't you try it out?" And so that's how it started. Honestly, if Steve had never pulled me into his office and said, "You should try out our track," I probably would have still been very stubborn and not done it. So, and not been where I am right now. So, I was very thankful that he kind of did that. And I hope there are still people in that newsroom. And I know Eric is a great person for this as well to be like, look, if this is what you want to do, to not be cliche and very cheesy, do it, right? Just do it. Just pursue your dreams. Like there are so many different avenues you can take with what you're studying right now. I have people in my class, and Eric could tell you about this, that have done so many different things, and so many different avenues. I mean, one is doing camera work for the Atlanta Hawks. Another is doing things with CBS Sports, and there's just so many different avenues you can take. It's just really, really cool. So honestly, just stick with it. If you want to do it, the only person stopping you is you, genuinely. But that's how I kind of fell into it. I didn't initially know what I wanted to do. I thought I just wanted to be a journalist. And the sports thing was kind of just, hey, you should try this. And I really ended up loving it and said, you know what? I'm not going to let my silly little idea that I may not succeed in this business stop me. I'm going to just do it. So that's what I did.
So as you've talked about, sorry, go ahead, Luke.
I, sorry if you did specify this too, but could you recap like getting that first job? Was it a difficulty for you at all? Or is it
It was super difficult. And this is something, actually, this is a great question. So thank you for bringing this up, because I probably should have mentioned this earlier. That's something else I really wanted to tell people when I first graduated is don't be discouraged. I had trouble getting my first job. I had trouble getting my second job. I had people messaging, but so I had news directors messaging me, asking me if I would please consider not doing sports, and please come be our morning anchor or our evening anchor. And I said, no, I don't really want to do that. Like, I don't really want to give up on this. I love what I do. No. But I got really discouraged in my second, before I got this job. I got really discouraged because there were so many people saying I wouldn't get a second job in sports. So again, it's really tough to get that first job. I lucked into it. There's a lot of luck, right? You know, Nolan Richardson said something crazy. When you try and win a national championship, it's not just about talent, it's also about luck, right? So you could be sitting in that room being the most talented person that's ever walked in the CJC building, and you will probably also struggle to get that first job. It is hard. So there is a little bit of luck. I lucked into my first job because Hurricane Michael had just hit the Panhandle. I graduated in December, and I applied for the job of sports director there a month after a Category 5 hurricane ravaged the city. And so honestly, the news director called me and said, look, this is not a favorable job. This isn't. I'm going to be honest with you. I can't pay you that much, and you're going to have to do a lot of work that probably isn't fun. There's a lot of people here right now that really, truly need sports, that really, truly need something to bring them together. And if you're that gal to do that, let's go. And I said, you know what? I'm not having a lot of luck with other jobs. I've done a lot of interviews and I've gotten a lot of no's. So let's do it. I'm willing to take the opportunity. So don't get discouraged, but also realize that if you get a good opportunity, if there's something that you're like, okay, this may not be where I want to be, but this is a good opportunity to get my foot in the door, take it. Don't be afraid. Take it. Try it out. You might actually end up liking it. A lot of people find that they go into the business and they stay in the lower markets because they love it so much, right? I'm staying in Fayetteville. I just re-signed my contract here, so I'm staying here. It's there was opportunities to go to a higher market, but I said I have a great life. I have 5 people I work around. I get holidays. I get time off. I'm very taken care of. I get free stuff, free concert tickets, free this, free that. I don't have to worry about anything. So I was like, I love it. I'm going to resign. So don't be discouraged if your first job is not the one that you're like, this is not my dream job. That's okay. That's okay. And know that it's going to take some time. You're not going to just apply for the first thing, get the interview, and get the job. It's not going to happen like that. You're going to do a lot of interviews, but I always said every single interview makes you better. You're not perfect at interviewing at the start. Honestly, nobody's really good at it. And so you do your first interview and you go, wow, I didn't like how I answered that. And I didn't like how I said that. And ooh, that was weird. I didn't like that. And then you go through and you perfect some of the things you do, right? And you go, okay, I can get better at this and better at this. And so every interview you do, don't think of it as oh man, I didn't get that. Think of it as they gave me an opportunity to get better. And that's what I did. So
that's some great advice. I've always said luck and timing are probably the 2 like biggest things in getting a job. It's not always just because you have a good resume or a good reel, whatever it may be. There's a lot of different factors that kind of come into play for sure. All right, so just kind of to wrap everything up, Courtney, we really appreciate your time here today. maybe you've given some great advice, but maybe just one like parting piece of advice for students. We have a lot of students in here that are probably graduating either this semester or into the summer. They're going to be heading out into the job world. They're interviewing for internships and or jobs right now. And we probably have some people in here that have an idea of what they want to do, but there are probably also some folks in here that maybe just aren't quite sure yet what area they want to go into. And like you said, that's okay. But just some parting pieces of advice for them as they kind of head out into this new space.
Yeah, I think the biggest one for me that I can't, it's so many people have said it, but I never really truly listened to it. And so hopefully you heed my advice and actually listen to this, because so many people who sit in this class and probably say this. It's very cliche, but be yourself. And I say that because there is nobody out there like you. There isn't. There's only one you, right? They don't want, this is something that somebody told me. They were like, Courtney, we don't want you to be Laura Rutledge or Aaron Andrews. We don't. We want you to be Courtney. We want you to be Courtney Mims. And what can you give us that is unique to you, right? And so I had to really think about that, because for so long in college, I was trying to be somebody else. I was trying to be this image of a sports anchor and reporter that I thought was what everybody wanted, right? I thought that this was the ideal person that they wanted. No, they didn't want that. They wanted someone unique. They wanted somebody, me, right? They wanted someone who is not those people. Otherwise, they can go out and hire those people if they really want to. So I kind of had to like go through a little soul searching moment, because I tried to make my voice too high for a long time. I thought I spoke too low, right? I was like, oh man, I talk too low for a girl. No one's going to listen to me. So I actually like sat in my upper register a little bit. And then somebody was like, why are you doing that? Why do you talk differently with me on the radio than you talk on air? It's weird. And so then I was like, wow, I didn't even know I was doing that, but I wasn't being myself. It's the same thing with writers. If right now you're writing, right? If you have a journalistic style of your pieces and you're trying to, because you're like, I look up to this guy or this girl and I want to write like them, develop your own style. That's what's going to put you ahead of everybody else, is being you. It's so like Disney World and so cliche, but it's so true. Once I cut everything out, I just said, you know what? I'm going to be me. I'm just going to be me. And that's what people are going to get. I realized it's made me so much better. And people have liked my content more and liked the things I'm putting out more, because I'm unapologetically me. And that sometimes means writing in all capitals on Twitter. And that sometimes means, saying, putting memes out there and things like that. And people are like, Courtney's crazy. She's funny. And I'm like, well, great. That's me. That's who I am. And so I stopped being whoever I thought people wanted me to be. And I just started being me. And so I challenge you guys to do that, is find what you love and that you like, and don't stop being you. That's what people want to hire. They want to hire someone unique. And so just be you. Just offer what you can. Don't try and be anybody else. That's super cliche, Eric. I'm sorry, but that is
No, that's
very, very
good.
true advice.
No, very good. Very good. Courtney, we really appreciate your time. It's good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys. And if you guys need anything at all, I do this with all the classes I speak to. I think Eric can give you my email, or, if you want to follow me on social media, my Twitter is at Courtney, Mims Courtney. If you guys want to follow me, I follow everyone back, and you can DM me about anything else, or I'm an open book. So if you need any help or you need anything, you want me to look at a reel or a sample of writing, please, 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 just, I promise you, I don't bite. I'm really nice. But I answer everybody. So if you need anything, feel free to reach out. And if you need somebody to give advice to, or there's somebody in the industry we can help you with, I'd be happy to help. So.
All right. We appreciate that. Thanks again, Courtney.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Thank you.